We're going to get you to explore something now, please. I'm going to get you to work in 3 teams. Choose the 3 teams. We've got Syndicate Room 1 and 3, and this one. Okay? And on page 16 is a story. Now, does anyone know Max Bygrave? Obviously I'm getting too old. Time I gave up this and go home. Right, this is called a moral dilemma, to which there is no given answer. And the more certain you are that you've got the right answer, the less likely you are to understand this. The ability to choose. Okay. So don't go through this and say, oh, it's her fault, his fault, their fault. Yeah? Think about it. And think about how other people argue. So the story, in brief, is about a chap called Chris. Actually, you can think of it as a woman as well. A woman could be Chris. Just swap the, I don't know the word gender, swap the sex around. And what Chris has done is he's had a row with his parents about his girlfriend. Make up your mind, you can live with her, you can live with us, you can go in flat, for goodness sake, son, make up your mind. Can't make up his mind. So he leaves his parents with a bit of a row going on, goes off to get his car that's at the garage, picks up the car, he's driving it away, and it stutters a bit. It misfires. He takes it back to the garage, and the garage say, well, it's too late to do anything today, bring it back tomorrow. So Chris drives the car off to his girlfriend's, where as he walks through the door, another row starts. Guess what about? Is he moving in? Is he getting his own flat? He's going to stay with his parents, same row. He's fed up. A big row starts. They try to calm down and have a glass of wine each. It doesn't help. And eventually, she says to him, get the hell out. I'm fed up. It's getting on for quite late, midnight-ish. He goes to the car, it won't start, it's busted. He goes back to the house, she won't let him in, he says to her at the box, my car's broken, she says, you should have thought of that, and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. So he starts to walk home, it's a pretty rough neighbourhood he has to go through. Cabbie pulls up, he says, oh, thank God for that. Leans into the cab, and the cabbie smells the glass of wine, and he says, I'm sorry, son, but I've just cleared up a load of sick from the back. I'm not taking any more of that tonight. Drives off. A few minutes later, someone hears a row, look out the window, and there's Chris getting beaten up by a guy who stopped taking his drugs. And he's a bit angry. Having had a row and started a fight. They call the police turn up, Chris is lying there in a pool of blood, this other guy's disappeared. They call the ambulance turns up, they can't get the resuscitation equipment to work because it's brand new. They thought they'd had the training, but it wasn't working properly. So they're rushed into the hospital. Half an hour later, Chris dies of his injuries. And the consultant says that it's probable that even if that equipment had worked, he probably would have died anyway. Now, that's an amazingly horrible set of circumstances. And most of this is taken from a true story, so it actually happened. Yeah? Now, my question is, try to tell us who let Chris down most. It's easy to say that's their fault, this fault. It's not about fault. Okay? So who let Chris down most? And when you come back, what I'd like you to tell us is the top 2 people that let Chris down. So 3 groups. Who let Chris down most? Is that all clear? Silence is deafening. How do you feel about this? Questions? Arguments? Insults? Now, you obviously know the counter arguments we've had on these before. The ambulance crew obviously let you down. why people in the second, or why not? Well, maybe they had a choice to go out half trained or not at all. So they made a moral choice. That let them down. The girlfriend comes up quite often, yeah, but we don't know, maybe she's been violent in the past, maybe she was looking after herself, so is it okay to look after yourself and let your partner down? Maybe there's an argument. Chris, that's pretty hard to argue against that one. I mean, there are so many opportunities for this guy not to be the way he was, yeah? Now, what I hope you've done is exposed your belief systems in this, yeah? Whether consciously or unconsciously. But it's about accepting difference. Core. So, your discussions here, the only way you can come to any kind of agreement in this daft exercise, because you know there's no real answer to that exercise, right? The only way you can come to agreement is to explore those differences. What's the basis of that decision? Let's get to that. Then I can understand you, I can work with you and value you. But we need to first understand, how is it we've got such radical difference?